There's a huge difference between a man who loves you and a man who wants to marry you. Love can be spontaneous, driven by passion and chemistry, but marriage is a conscious decision. When a man decides to commit his life to you, it's not just because he enjoys being around you, it's because he sees you as his future, his partner, and his greatest investment. So what makes a man want to marry you? It's not just about looks or attraction, it's about the deep, intangible qualities that make a relationship last. A woman who loves herself sets a high standard, inspiring him to become a better version of himself. A woman with direction makes him think about the future. Respect, emotional stability, and the ability to create a healthy balance between love and independence make him realize that life with you isn't just exciting, it's secure, fulfilling, and worth committing to. Marriage is not just about finding the right person, it's about becoming the right person too. The man who wants to marry you isn't just looking for a wife, he's looking for you, the woman he can't imagine living without. Do you see yourself in these traits? Have you ever been in a relationship that made you realize your worth in a new way? Share your story, because sometimes our experiences help others understand what they truly deserve. 1. You inspire him to become better. Imagine this. You're not just a woman he loves, you're the woman who elevates his life. The one who makes him think, if I let her go, I'll regret it forever. A man doesn't just wake up and decide to commit. He commits when he sees a future with you. And that future? It has to feel bigger, brighter, and more meaningful than his life without you. So, what truly makes a man see you as his greatest investment? It's not about how much you love him. It's about how much you inspire him to become a better version of himself. Love is easy. It can be sparked by passion, timing, or even familiarity. But commitment is a decision. A man doesn't choose his wife based on fleeting emotions. He chooses her because she brings out the best in him. Think about the most driven, high-achieving men, athletes, leaders, entrepreneurs. What do they all have in common? They surround themselves with people who push them to be greater. And when it comes to choosing a life partner, they don't settle for someone who simply exists in their life. They choose a woman who challenges them, supports them, and fuels their ambition. A man may be attracted to many women, but he will only marry the one who makes him see himself differently. I remember a conversation I had with a close friend. She's ambitious, always learning, constantly growing. Outside of work, she spends time reading, taking new courses, and pushing herself to achieve more. One day, her partner confessed something unexpected. "You know," he said, "seeing you so dedicated to self-improvement makes me want to work harder. I used to come home and just scroll through my phone, but now I feel like I should be learning something new too." Without even realizing it, she had inspired him to grow. And that's the key. Inspiration isn't about forcing a man to change, it's about making him want to evolve because of the person you are. A Stoic once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." The same applies here. Instead of trying to fix or motivate a man, simply be the kind of woman who naturally pushes him to grow. So how do you do this in a way that feels natural, effortless, and true to who you are? The best way to inspire him? Be an example of self-improvement. When you invest in yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, he sees it. Men are naturally competitive. When they see you striving for better, they want to match your energy. A woman with a mission is magnetic. He won't just love you, he'll admire you. A man doesn't want to be your only source of happiness. Pursue your dreams, hobbies, and ambitions. Not for him, but for you. When you're fulfilled outside the relationship, you bring more value into it. Encouragement is powerful, but it must be given the right way. Instead of saying, "You should work harder," try, "I love seeing you so passionate about what you do." Inspiration comes from admiration, not pressure. A man respects a woman who calls him out with kindness. If he's slacking in life, don't belittle him. Instead, ask, "What's stopping you from going after what you want?" He should feel like you believe in him, even when he doubts himself. A man craves peace over chaos. Emotional intelligence means handling challenges without resorting to drama. A woman who responds, not reacts, makes a man feel safe in the relationship. When a man connects his growth to your presence, something shifts. He starts stepping up in areas he once ignored. He sees you not just as a lover, but as a life partner. He fears losing you, not because you demand commitment, but because he knows his life is better with you in it. This is why high-value men marry high-value women. They don't just seek beauty or fun, they seek elevation. If you take nothing else from this, remember, you don't inspire a man by changing him. You inspire him by being a woman he never wants to lose. A man's deepest fear isn't rejection. It's failing in front of the woman he respects. And when he looks at you, at your drive, your confidence, your unwavering standards, he should feel one thing: I need to step up. That's when he commits. That's when he chooses you, not just for now, but for life. 2. You have a meaningful life of your own. Have you ever met someone who lost themselves in a relationship? A woman who once had dreams, passions, and a spark in her eyes, but over time, she became consumed by the relationship, her world revolving entirely around one man? This is what most women don't realize. A man doesn't want to be the center of your world. He wants to be a part of a world that is already full and vibrant. Men are naturally drawn to women who have their own purpose, their own direction. When he sees that your happiness doesn't depend entirely on him, he respects you more. He sees you as someone worth investing in, not because you need him, but because you choose to share your life with him. I love to paint. I enjoy volunteering, helping my elderly neighbor, grabbing coffee with my friends, and pursuing my own dreams. My world is filled with experiences that bring me joy, and my partner walks alongside me in this journey. He's not the reason for my happiness, he's a part of it. And that makes all the difference. A man will love many women in his lifetime, but he will only commit to the one who stands strong in her own identity. If you give up everything for a relationship, you don't become more attractive, you become replaceable. Let's be honest. Many women fall into the trap of centering their entire existence around a man. They cancel plans for him. They stop doing what they love. They mold themselves into what they think he wants. But in the end, they lose the very thing that made them special: their individuality. A Stoic principle says, no man is free who is not master of himself. The same applies to women. If your sense of identity is tied to a relationship, then you are not in control of your own life, and that's dangerous. So how do you build a meaningful life that naturally attracts commitment? First, pursue your passions, no matter how small they seem. Maybe you love to write, dance, travel, or start a business. Maybe you have a cause you care about. Whatever it is, make time for it. A woman who is deeply engaged in her own purpose is captivating. She exudes confidence because she doesn't rely on external validation. Second, maintain strong friendships. Women who abandon their social lives for a relationship often find themselves feeling empty when things get rocky. Your friends are your support system, your reality check, and your reminder that life exists beyond romantic love. Third, stay committed to your personal growth. Read, learn, explore. A woman who continuously evolves is never stagnant. She brings depth to conversations, excitement to experiences, and a sense of mystery that keeps a man intrigued. This isn't about playing games or being distant. It's about being whole. A man should complement your life, not complete it. When he sees that you're fulfilled on your own, he doesn't feel pressured to be your everything. Instead, he feels inspired to be a part of your incredible journey. Imagine two women. One puts her dreams on hold for a man. The other continues to chase her ambitions while letting love be a part of her life. Which one do you think a man will respect more? Which one do you think he will fear losing? A high-value man doesn't just want a relationship, he wants a partnership. He wants to walk beside a woman who challenges him, inspires him, and makes him feel like being with her elevates his own existence. This is why men commit to women who have a sense of purpose beyond the relationship. They see her as a partner, not a dependent. They know she's not afraid to walk away if she isn't valued, too, because she doesn't need a man to define her worth. If there's one thing you take from this, let it be this: never shrink yourself to fit into someone else's life. Build your own and invite the right man to walk beside you. Because the woman who stands strong in her own identity, she's the one a man will never want to let go of. 3. You make him feel respected. I remember a moment that changed the way I saw relationships forever. My partner had spent the entire afternoon fixing something in our home. Nothing major, just a small repair. When he finished, I simply said, "Thank you. I really appreciate it." That was it. No grand gesture, no over-the-top praise, just a simple acknowledgement of his effort. But something shifted in his expression. His shoulders squared a little more. His eyes lit up with quiet pride. And in that moment, I realized something crucial. Respect means everything to a man. It's not just about big accomplishments. It's about the little ways you show him that his presence, his efforts, and his decisions matter. When a man feels respected, he feels valued. And when he feels valued, he commits. Most women don't realize this, but respect to a man is what love is to a woman. A woman wants to feel cherished, adored, and secure. A man wants to feel capable, trusted, and admired. If he doesn't feel respected, no matter how much love exists, he will withdraw. When a man shares his thoughts, ideas, or concerns, give him your full attention. Look him in the eyes. Show him that what he says carries weight. Too often we multitask, scrolling on our phones, half listening while nodding absent-mindedly. But men notice, and more importantly, they feel it. A man who senses that his words don't matter will eventually stop sharing. And when he stops sharing, emotional distance grows. Trust is another cornerstone of respect. A man wants to know that you believe in his ability to make decisions. That doesn't mean blindly following his lead, but it does mean showing confidence in his judgment. When you second-guess every choice he makes, from something as small as picking a restaurant to something as big as handling finances, it sends a message: I don't trust you. Men are problem solvers by nature. They take pride in handling challenges. And sometimes, the best thing you can do is step back and let him figure things out his way. If he's fixing something, resist the urge to micromanage. If he's handling a stressful situation, avoid swooping in and taking control. Support is valuable, but overstepping makes him feel like he's being treated as incapable. I've learned to do this in small but powerful ways. If he fixes something around the house, I don't say, "You should have done it this way." I say, "That looks great. Thank you for taking care of it." If he's dealing with a tough work decision, I don't overwhelm him with advice unless he asks. Instead, I say, "I trust that you'll figure out the best way." These simple shifts make a world of difference. Another critical aspect of respect: how you speak about him to others. Words have power, and a man notices how you talk about him when he's not around. Do you praise his strengths, or do you complain about his flaws? Do you uplift him in front of your friends, or do you casually make him the punchline of a joke? The way you speak about him, especially in public, directly affects how he sees your level of respect. Even in private, the tone you use matters. A simple difference between "you never do anything right" and "I appreciate you trying, let's figure this out together" can determine whether a conversation builds connection or destroys it. Respect isn't about submission. It's about recognizing a man's deep desire to be seen as capable and valuable. And when a man feels respected, something powerful happens. He naturally wants to protect, cherish, and commit to the woman who makes him feel that way. If you take nothing else from this, remember, a man falls in love with how he feels around you. If he feels small, controlled, or unappreciated, he pulls away. But if he feels trusted, admired, and valued, he will move mountains to keep you in his life. 4. You create the right balance between closeness and challenge. There's something powerful about a relationship that has the right balance. It's not about being distant, nor is it about being overly available. It's about knowing when to lean in and when to give space. A man doesn't want to feel smothered, but he also doesn't want to feel like he's chasing someone who will never truly let him in. The strongest connections are built on both closeness and challenge. The ability to be fully present while maintaining a sense of individuality and intrigue. Men are wired to pursue, not just in relationships, but in every aspect of life. They thrive on challenges, on the feeling of working towards something meaningful. This doesn't mean you should make things difficult for him. It means understanding that a man values what he earns. If everything is handed to him too easily, he may not appreciate it the same way. If something is constantly out of reach, he may lose interest and walk away. The balance is in between. It's in being a woman who is open, loving, and emotionally connected, while also having her own boundaries, standards, and personal ambitions. A good example of this comes from a woman I know. She was deeply in love with her boyfriend, always making time for him, always saying yes to his plans, always adjusting her schedule to fit his. She thought she was being a great partner, someone supportive and easy to be with. But over time, she noticed that he became less engaged. The excitement started to fade. He stopped making as much effort, stopped planning surprises, and even started pulling away. She was confused. She had done everything to make him happy, yet he seemed to be losing interest. Then, something shifted. She started making plans without him, not out of spite, but because she wanted to reconnect with herself. She took up painting again, spent more time with her friends, and focused on her personal goals. She still loved him, still valued their time together, but she stopped making him the absolute center of her world. And something interesting happened. He started chasing her again. He started putting in more effort. He saw her not just as someone who was there no matter what, but as someone he had to continue to invest in. This is the balance. Men want to feel needed, but they also want to feel that they are choosing a woman who has her own life, her own purpose. They don't want to feel like they are the only source of your happiness. They want to be with a woman who brings something valuable to the table, who challenges them to grow, and who makes them feel like they are earning her time, attention, and love. So how do you create this balance in your own relationship? First, prioritize your own life and passions. A woman with ambition, hobbies, and a sense of purpose outside of a relationship is incredibly attractive. It shows that you are not just looking for someone to complete you, but that you are already whole on your own. This creates a natural pull. A man wants to be part of a world that is already fulfilling, not one that relies solely on him to feel complete. Second, don't always be available. This doesn't mean playing games or ignoring him on purpose. It means understanding that time apart is just as valuable as time together. Give him space to miss you. If he knows that you're always there, always saying yes, always waiting, he may start taking your presence for granted. But if he knows that you have your own commitments, your own priorities, he will cherish the moments he does get with you. Third, be emotionally open, but also maintain your boundaries. Being close to a man doesn't mean letting go of your standards. If something doesn't sit right with you, speak up. If you need time for yourself, take it. A man respects a woman who respects herself. If you are always bending over backward to accommodate him, you may think you are being loving, but in reality, you may be diminishing your value in his eyes. Fourth, keep an element of mystery and unpredictability. This doesn't mean being secretive or distant. It means continuing to grow, to evolve, to bring new energy into the relationship. The most exciting relationships are the ones where both partners continue to learn from each other, to surprise each other, and to explore new things together. If he feels like he already knows everything about you, like there's nothing left to discover, the excitement can fade. A woman who understands this balance, who knows when to be close and when to step back, when to nurture and when to challenge, is a woman a man will never want to lose. She is not desperate for validation because she already knows her worth. She does not chase love because she knows that real love comes when two people see each other as equals, as partners, as individuals who choose each other every single day. And that is what makes a man commit, not just for now, but for life. 5. You set clear boundaries. There is a moment in every woman's life when she realizes that her worth is defined by the standards she sets, not by how much she tolerates. Boundaries are not about being difficult or distant. They are about self-respect. They are about teaching people, including the man in your life, how to treat you. A woman who lacks boundaries is a woman who will eventually feel drained, unappreciated, and lost in her own relationship. A man may be drawn to her kindness, her willingness to give, but over time he will subconsciously lose respect for what is freely given without expectation. A man doesn't commit because a woman makes his life easy. He commits because she makes his life meaningful. And meaning comes with standards. Setting boundaries isn't about being cold. It's about making it clear what you will and will not accept. If you tolerate being disrespected, ignored, or treated as an afterthought, you send a silent message: I am okay with this. But when you stand firm in your values, when you calmly express what you need, you create a foundation of mutual respect. One of my closest friends once struggled with this. She was in love with a man who she thought was perfect for her. But every time he canceled plans last minute, every time he dismissed her feelings, every time he failed to follow through on promises, she let it slide. She feared that setting boundaries would push him away. So she stayed silent. And slowly, she started feeling invisible. The moment she finally spoke up, not with anger, but with certainty, everything changed. She told him, "I deserve consistency. I deserve to be heard. And if you can't give me that, I won't beg for it." He looked at her differently that day. He realized that he could no longer take her for granted. A high-value man does not run from boundaries. He respects them. A man who truly cares about you will not be offended by your standards. He will rise to meet them. And a man who does not, he was never meant for you in the first place. So how do you set boundaries in a way that is both powerful and effective? First, be clear about what you accept and what you don't. Vague expectations lead to frustration. Instead of hoping a man will just know what you need, state it clearly. I value honesty. I need consistency. I don't tolerate disrespect. Say it with confidence, not apology. Second, enforce your boundaries through action, not just words. A man listens to what you allow more than what you say. If he repeatedly ignores your needs and you continue to stay, your words lose their power. Boundaries mean nothing without follow-through. Third, never fear losing a man over your self-respect. If maintaining your standards makes a man walk away, he was never truly invested. The right man will not feel threatened by your strength. He will admire it. A woman who is willing to walk away from what doesn't serve her is the woman a man will fight to keep. Fourth, stop over-explaining. Many women feel the need to justify their boundaries, to soften their stance so they don't seem too much. But strength does not require excessive explanation. A simple, "this doesn't work for me," is enough. Fifth, understand that boundaries protect, not punish. They are not about controlling a man's actions. They are about maintaining your own peace. If you feel disrespected, unheard, or undervalued, it is not your job to change him. It is your job to decide what you will do about it. Stoic wisdom teaches us that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot control how a man behaves, but you can control whether or not you continue to entertain behavior that goes against your values. A woman with clear boundaries is magnetic because she operates from self-worth, not fear. She doesn't demand respect, she embodies it. She does not need to argue about her standards, she simply lives by them. And the man who sees this, he won't just love her, he will cherish her. Because a woman who values herself is a woman he knows he could never replace. 6. You are emotionally stable. There's something incredibly attractive about a woman who is emotionally stable. She is the kind of woman a man can turn to, not run from. She doesn't react impulsively, doesn't create unnecessary drama, and doesn't let small inconveniences shake her. Instead, she radiates peace, control, and self-assurance. And that is powerful. A high-value man doesn't commit to chaos, he commits to clarity. A relationship should be a place of refuge, not a battlefield. When a man knows that he can come to you after a long day and find support instead of conflict, he sees you differently. He doesn't just love you, he trusts you. And trust is the foundation of lasting commitment. We've all seen it before. The woman who lashes out at the smallest inconvenience, the woman who plays mind games, tests his patience, or constantly seeks validation through emotional outbursts. She may capture his attention for a while, but she will never hold his respect. I once had a friend who was in a relationship with a great man. He was ambitious, kind, and deeply committed, until one day he wasn't. The problem wasn't love. It wasn't attraction. It was exhaustion. He told me, "I never know what version of her I'm going to get. One day, she's affectionate. The next, she's distant. One moment, everything is fine. The next, she's creating problems that don't exist. I feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells." That's when I understood something crucial. A man may be drawn to passion, but he commits to peace. So how do you become the kind of woman who exudes emotional stability? First, learn to regulate your emotions. Emotional stability doesn't mean never feeling upset. It means knowing how to process your emotions in a way that doesn't damage the relationship. If something bothers you, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this worth a fight, or is this something I can express calmly? A woman who masters her reactions is a woman a man respects deeply. Second, don't turn small issues into major conflicts. Men value emotional safety. If they feel like every disagreement is going to escalate into a dramatic argument, they will pull away, not because they don't care, but because they are wired to avoid unnecessary stress. Instead of attacking, learn to communicate. "I feel hurt when this happens" is far more effective than "you always do this to me." Third, drop the mind games. If you're upset, say it. If you need reassurance, ask for it. Healthy relationships are built on honesty, not manipulation. The moment a man feels like he has to decipher what's going on in your head, the connection starts to erode. Fourth, don't let insecurity control you. Emotional instability often stems from fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of being abandoned, fear of not being in control. But here's the truth. The more you try to control a man, the faster he will want to escape. A confident woman doesn't beg for love. She knows her worth, and because of that, she doesn't feel the need to create drama just to feel validated. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the things we stress about in relationships are fears we create in our own minds. The key is to recognize when you're reacting out of fear rather than reality. A woman who is emotionally stable is a woman a man feels safe with. He knows that if he shares his struggles, she won't judge him. If he makes a mistake, she won't explode in anger. If life gets tough, she won't abandon ship. She becomes his peace. And in a world full of chaos, peace is rare. Peace is valuable. Peace is irreplaceable. When a man finds a woman who embodies this, he doesn't just stay. He chooses her every single day. 7. You make him feel valued and appreciated. I remember a time when I was sitting at a cafe, deep in conversation with a friend. She had been dating a wonderful man for a year, and things were going well. Except for one problem. She felt like he was pulling away. "I don't get it," she said. "I do everything for him. I plan dates, I make sure he's okay, I even support him when he's stressed, but lately he seems distant." I asked her one simple question. "When was the last time you told him you appreciated him?" She hesitated. "I mean, I do things for him. He should know, right?" That was it. She was showing love the way she wanted to receive it, but she wasn't speaking his language. Men need to feel valued, not just in grand moments, but in the everyday things they do. A man wants to know that his efforts, big or small, are seen. When he fixes something around the house, when he checks on you after a long day, when he supports your dreams, he's showing love in his own way. And when that goes unnoticed, he starts to feel like he's just going through the motions. Men don't crave constant validation, but they do want to feel like what they bring to the relationship matters. When they don't, they start to pull away, not because they've stopped caring, but because they feel like they're no longer making a difference in your life. This isn't about flattery, it's about recognition. A simple thank you, a genuine "I appreciate that," or even just acknowledging his effort with a smile can make all the difference. Most women assume that men don't need verbal affirmation, but the truth is, they do. It's just that they express that need differently. Unlike women, who often communicate through words and emotions, men communicate through actions. They show love by doing. When a man opens the door for you, offers to carry something heavy, or simply listens when you vent, these are his ways of showing care. If these actions are ignored or brushed off as expected, over time, he may stop putting in effort. Not because he doesn't care anymore, but because he feels like his efforts don't matter. First, notice the little things. If he surprises you with coffee, don't just take it, acknowledge it. If he supports your work, tell him how much it means to you. The key here is sincerity. Men can tell when words are empty, but when appreciation comes from a place of genuine gratitude, it strengthens the bond between you. Second, trust his abilities. One of the fastest ways to make a man feel unappreciated is to constantly question or correct him. If he's fixing something, let him. If he's making decisions, trust that he can handle them. No man wants to feel like he's under constant scrutiny. The more you show confidence in his abilities, the more he will rise to meet that expectation. Third, acknowledge his role in your life. This isn't about making him feel like your world revolves around him. It's about letting him know that his presence adds value. Something as simple as, "I love the way you make me feel safe," or "I'm grateful to have you by my side," can have a profound impact. When a man feels valued, he naturally steps up. He puts in more effort, he becomes more affectionate, and he invests more in the relationship. A man who feels truly appreciated will go out of his way to make sure you are happy, not because he has to, but because he wants to. On the other hand, when a man feels undervalued, he withdraws. He may not even realize why at first, but something inside him tells him that no matter what he does, it won't be enough. And eventually, he stops trying. This is why small moments of appreciation matter. They create a sense of connection, of importance, of being seen. There's a Stoic principle that says, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculation about others. Instead, be concerned with how you can make the best use of your time." This applies to relationships too. Instead of wondering if a man appreciates you, ask yourself if you are making him feel appreciated. A high-value man doesn't need excessive praise. He doesn't need someone who idolizes him, but he does need to know that his presence, his effort, and his love are valued. When a man feels truly appreciated, something shifts. He invests more. He commits deeper. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. 8. You take responsibility for your own happiness. A woman who owns her happiness is a woman who commands respect. She is not waiting for a man to fix her, to make her feel whole, or to provide endless emotional support. She is in control of her own life, her own emotions, and her own sense of fulfillment. And that makes her incredibly attractive. A man may love a woman who is dependent on him for happiness, but he won't commit deeply. Why? Because emotional dependence eventually becomes a burden. No one wants to feel solely responsible for another person's well-being. True commitment comes when a man knows that his presence adds joy to your life, not that he is your only source of joy. I once knew a woman who embodied this perfectly. She had been in a long-term relationship that ended painfully, but instead of falling apart, she took a different approach. She didn't blame her ex, she didn't drown in self-pity. She took full responsibility for her healing. She started traveling alone, picking up new hobbies, investing in her career, and doing things she had always wanted to do. She built a life she genuinely loved. A year later, her ex saw her again, and for the first time, he realized something. She had never needed him, she had chosen him. And that made her irresistible. Men don't want a woman who needs them to survive. They want a woman who chooses them out of genuine desire, not desperation. A woman who is self-sufficient, emotionally stable, and fulfilled on her own is a woman a man will do anything to keep. So how do you take responsibility for your own happiness in a way that makes you more attractive, not less? First, stop expecting a relationship to complete you. Movies and love songs have sold us the idea that we need someone to make us whole. But that's a lie. If you feel empty, a relationship won't fix it. It will only magnify the void. A man can add to your life, but he should never be the foundation of your happiness. Second, cultivate your own passions, friendships, and goals. A man respects a woman who has her own life. If your entire world revolves around him, he may appreciate the attention at first, but eventually he will feel suffocated. Independence is attractive. When you have your own interests, it shows that you are a whole person with or without him. Third, learn to regulate your emotions without relying on him to be your emotional caretaker. It's okay to seek comfort in your partner, but it's not his job to fix every problem or soothe every insecurity. A confident woman processes her emotions in a healthy way, through self-reflection, journaling, talking to trusted friends, or simply taking time for herself. Fourth, stop playing the victim. Life happens, heartbreak happens. But the difference between a strong woman and a weak one is how she responds. Do you blame others for your unhappiness, or do you take ownership of your life and make changes where necessary? A man will commit to a woman who takes responsibility for her emotions, her choices, and her future. There's a Stoic principle that says, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. A man is not responsible for your happiness. You are. When you take ownership of your life, something incredible happens. You stop feeling desperate. You stop settling. You stop tolerating behavior that doesn't align with your standards. You naturally become more attractive, more confident, and more magnetic. A high-value man isn't looking for a woman to fix. He's looking for a woman who is already whole. When he sees that your happiness is not dependent on him, he feels safe. He knows that you are with him because you want to be, not because you need to be. A woman who owns her happiness is a woman who cannot be replaced, because a woman like that, she is rare, and a man will never risk losing her. 9. You make him not only love but admire you. Love is easy. Admiration? That's rare. A man can fall in love with your beauty, your kindness, your presence, but admiration, that deep, unwavering respect, comes from who you are at your core. A man might love many women in his lifetime, but he will only commit to the one he truly admires. I once met a woman who embodied this effortlessly. She was in a long-term relationship, but what stood out wasn't just how much her partner loved her, it was how much he respected her. He spoke about her with pride. He admired the way she carried herself, the way she never compromised on her values, and the way she pursued her passions relentlessly. She wasn't just his girlfriend, she was someone he looked up to. Men don't just want affection. They want to feel like they've chosen a high-value woman, someone who challenges them, inspires them, and holds herself to a high standard. A man might be physically attracted to many women, but he will only build a life with one he truly respects. So, how do you make a man admire you, not just love you? First, have a strong sense of self. A woman who knows who she is, what she stands for, and what she will and won't tolerate, is a woman who commands respect. She does not shrink herself to fit into someone else's life. She moves through the world with certainty. A man looks at a woman like that and thinks, she's different. Second, never abandon your own growth. The most admired women are those who are constantly evolving, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. A man should look at you and see someone who is always striving for more, someone who is passionate about her own journey. Whether it's your career, your personal development, or your interests, when you invest in yourself, you become infinitely more attractive. Third, stand by your values. Nothing commands respect more than a woman who doesn't compromise on what truly matters to her. If you have boundaries, stick to them. If you have principles, live by them. A man admires a woman who isn't easily swayed, who doesn't bend just to please others. He sees that strength and knows that she's someone worth keeping. Fourth, don't just support his dreams. Have your own. Men respect women who bring something to the table, who have their own ambitions and aspirations. A woman with goals is magnetic. She doesn't need a man to complete her, and that independence makes her even more desirable. Fifth, control your emotions with grace. Passion is beautiful, but drama is exhausting. A woman who knows how to navigate challenges with composure, who doesn't let insecurities dictate her actions, is a woman a man admires deeply. Emotional maturity shows strength. It tells him that you are not just a fleeting romance, but a true partner in life. There's a Stoic principle that says, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The same applies to relationships. Instead of focusing on finding a man who admires you, become the kind of woman who is naturally admired. When a man loves you, he enjoys being with you. When he admires you, he never wants to lose you. That's the difference between temporary passion and lifelong commitment. A woman who embodies this, she doesn't just inspire love, she inspires devotion. A man may be drawn to beauty, but he commits to depth. Love alone is not enough. What truly makes a man want to marry a woman is admiration, respect, and the knowledge that she is a rare presence in his life. A high-value woman does not chase love. She does not beg for commitment. She becomes the kind of woman who naturally inspires it. Throughout this video, we've explored what makes a man not just love you, but see you as his future. From setting clear boundaries, embracing emotional stability, and taking responsibility for your own happiness, to creating a life that is fulfilling with or without him. A strong relationship is not built on fleeting attraction. It is built on mutual growth, deep trust, and the ability to stand side by side as equals. The man who truly values you will see these qualities and choose you, not just for now, but for life. Now I want to hear from you. What qualities do you believe make a relationship truly last? Have you ever experienced a moment where you realized your own worth and saw a shift in the way men treated you? Share your story in the comments below, because your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.